income. So yeah, unfortunately, once again, we are spending time doing the same thing we normally do. And with fields this size, it does take a little longer. Oops, I probably should get further onto the field. Let's turn the ground map on. Oh, this field has not been fertilized, so first application. Now sometimes I'll look at a field this size, yeah, maybe I should use the spreader, because it'll go a lot quicker. I think last time we did this, it did take, I mean, we carry 2,900. I think it took about 5,800 litres to complete this. Maybe a little bit more. So this is not going to be a quick job, but it pays well. It'll put us over 200,000, which makes me happy. Still can't afford the sheep field yet, but let's leave that on cruise for a minute. How much is that field again? That's 500,000. I need that field to put sheep in. So that's one of our first purchases over winter. We do have a sizable amount of grain in storage, though. I can't remember what. So we do have some wheat, we have sunflowers. How did I get wheat? Wheat must have been a leftover from a contract. And then potatoes and sugar beets. And I think we said sunflowers' best sell time was beginning of the year. So sunflowers' best selling time is sort of round about here and here. So that's when we'll be doing the sunflowers. The wheat, the biggest thing is going to be the barley and the sugar beets and the potatoes. They're going to take a lot of trucking. And as I reckon, we probably have some income from the BGA tonight. So that will be a thing. So what else has come up this week? There was there were new fact sheets for Farm Sim 22. We have the Fendt 700 Vario, I think, which is good. I mean, it kind of expected. We're going to see Fendt, we're going to see Massey Ferguson, probably going to see Valtra. What other? Obviously, yes, John Deere, yes, Class. So if they're announcing vehicles we've already seen in current Farm Sim, I'm not surprised. It's a confirmation. We're getting the Fendt, or at least a Fendt 700. Nice to see. It would be nice to see green Fendt harvester like we have on this farm, but I don't know. We haven't seen much in the way of harvesters. Plus, they're more sort of a generic. What do we get here? We get the big black one. This one, the Agco harvester, and you can have it in Fendt, Massey Ferguson. So that may be as close to Fendt harvesting as we get in 22, or they may bring back the smaller green ones. Obviously John Deere, I think I said that. But we are getting some older vehicles of the brands that we know about. but they did announce we're getting a Japanese tractor. So I don't know that they export them much. I'm pretty sure we've never seen Japanese tractors in any of the American farms around here. Most of them seem to be older Massey Fergusons. Trying to think. Majority around here are John Deere and smaller New Hollands. So sort of a T5, T6. Not sure I've ever seen a T7 around here. And Case. Although, as I said, vast majority in this neck of the woods are John Deere. How's the tank doing? 68% gone, and we are about halfway around the field, so yay. Going to have to top the tanks up when we get back to the Land Rover if we're going to continue this. And not have to drive half a mile. What are the other things? The tippers are not agroliners anymore. They're now similar style, obviously. I mean, how many styles can you have of grain cart? But they're a different brand. Yeah, I mean, obviously the information last week was crossplay with consoles and PCs. And it's kind of, it's kind of what I expected it. Yeah, the way it works at the moment, you can't join a game if you don't have the mods. And so if a PC player is hosting and he's using mods that aren't allowed on console, then console players can't join that game ever. The console players will limit the number of slots that you can use on the farm. So from that aspect, it's probably easier if the console player hosts, because he limits the equipment that can be played with, and then anybody can join. Whereas again, if a PC player is hosting, then consoles may be limited because the amount of equipment he has. Now, one way around that is obviously take multiples of the same equipment. So I could run a farm with 5 Valtra Gs and it would use however many slots a Valtra G uses, and then each additional one is just +1. Whereas if I had a Valtra G, a Massey 5700S and a Fendt 300, they're all about the same size, but that's the total slot count for all 3 tractors. So you're going to run out of slots. The less capable consoles, the older generation consoles, won't be able to join you. The newer ones may be able to. So I think I said last week, this farm would be PC and Apple only, because we got 5 different tractors. Do we have 5 different tractors? Yeah, we got 5 different tractors, so that's 5 different charges for full charge for slot counts on those. Plus the harvester, plus the telehandler, plus all the front loader equipment that we've got for a tractor and the telehandler. And that rapidly knocks out your slot count, plus you have to worry about the farm and how much of a slot count just having the map takes up. I do remember, oh, who was it? Probably Farmer Klein? Or maybe it was Virtual Farmer, but they were commenting one map that came out early on for FS19. They had about 150 slots available after the map, which, yeah, that's not going to last you long. Oh, we're not into the bottom tank. Okay, let's fold that up so I can get the rear tank closer. So we're just below half, but and we should make it round, because obviously every time you go around the track, it gets smaller. I will I'll fill up completely so that we make it round. We're definitely going to make it round, as opposed to, oh, not quite. So, extend to the boom again and let's go going. I kind of took a break from World of Warships. I figured I wasn't going to complete the current dockyard event. Not as a casual player. And I was on stage 4 and it's sort of, yeah, this is going to take me about 200 games to complete one of the steps I needed. It was sort of, yeah, that's not happening at 3 games a day. And, you know, wifey's got hospital things, so, you know, I don't have 24 hours to burn playing World of Warships, so I kind of took a rest for that. There isn't another promotion going on at the moment, but haven't looked at that at all. Mrs. Osa went into the hospital on Tuesday. No, she didn't. She went, well, she did, but she went to see a doctor. And her doctor was sort of, yeah, we need to get some tests done and blah this, blah that. And then, you know what, I'm just going to send you down to the hospital and have them done right now. So, completely changed our plans for Tuesday. And Mrs. Osa was admitted to the hospital for tests. And they had plans on what tests they were going to do. And I think they did a blood workup as soon as she got there, because that's easy, just stick a needle in your arm and take some blood. But they also did a CT scan, and then they kind of said, well, we were going to do some others, but I kind of think we're done. We've got enough information. So she has an appointment with the specialist on the 12th of October, which was already scheduled. And it sounds like at the moment the next stage will be surgery, which we're kind of happy about. I mean, obviously nobody's happy about having surgery, but we've been sitting around for 4 months with this, and our local hospital has been just dragging their feet, not getting anything done, not telling anybody what's happening, and and we're with the medical supplier in the town we used to live in, and so our family doctors are still there, and they just said, oh, we'll do it ourselves, we're not going to worry about including your local hospital, who we really don't have a lot of dealings with, except I was in there, what was it, about a year ago when the deck stairs collapsed with me on them, And obviously, yeah, I probably need to go to the emergency room and get checked over and make sure I don't have any broken bits or internal bleeding or anything like that, or a concussion. So that sort of thing, yeah, I'll use the local hospital for, but frankly, it's their administration is the problem. I'm not going to say their care is worse. Food's good, but their administration, their communication skills, just horrible. So, and when we did move here, I did do a check, because obviously our health insurance, these are all the doctors that are on your in your it's in service or out of service, whatever it is, but they're sort of their in-service doctors. Here's the list of all of them, and we said, okay, fine. So our local hospital now, what general family doctors have they got that are taking new patients? The nearest one was 50 miles away. And I said, well, our current doctors are 50 miles away, so let's stick with the doctors we've been with for the last 10 years and not switch to a new one. Because, yeah, obviously the current doctors know us, they've been treating us for 10 years, and yeah, they've got the history, they've got first-hand history, whereas moving to a new doctor, it's usually a case of now you've got to educate them in how we do things. And while sometimes it's good, you'll get a new perspective on your treatment. It's a lot of the time it's just yeah, we tried that, yeah, we tried that, yeah, we tried that. No, I don't want to try that. And yeah, it's frustrating more than anything. But to have to drive 50 miles to see your family doctor, regardless, is sort of, well, stick with the one you know. So that's pretty much where we're at the moment. I've got an eye test on Tuesday, so the annual. Can you still see me? Yes, okay, you can go home now. And of course I had to book in for, or put the paperwork in for family medical leave now, because up until now it's just been a case of, oh, you know, it's a day here, a day there, I can cover that with vacation, no big deal. And I'll take the day off, because I'm the only one going out doing shopping and doing everything else. So it's just easier for me to say, okay, I'm going to take this day off, and Mrs. Osa's got an appointment, and I need to go to the bank, to the hardware store, whatever. Actually, this is the first time I've had a chance to take the tiles that we didn't use back when we had our shower done. That must have been beginning of August. That got started, so we bought all the tiles, and I mean, we had to shop around, because the amount of tiles we needed was way more than any one store stocked. So I went to the local store. Yeah, I want these 3 types of tile, and I'll have all of the ones you have. Who else near here has got some? And so it was kind of here and there and everywhere. But we had some left over, and I took them back yesterday. Thursday. Yesterday. No, I took them back yesterday. Booked the car in for a service, because that kind of needs seeing to before the winter months. And I mean, with the amount of travel we don't do, We're putting less than 6,000 miles on each of our cars every year. So we're at the point where it's sort of the annual oil change as opposed to the 6,000 mile oil change. Though I have driven the car a little bit more this year than we did last year. I mean, obviously last year was just nothing's open, so there's really no point going out. So I kind of stuck the car in the garage for 8 months and then kind of regretted it because it was a little bit stiff, and yeah, drove it for about 2 weeks straight until it felt right. But yeah, it's easier to take Mrs. Osa around in the SUV because you don't have to bend over to get in it. So how are we doing? 49% on the lap. I'm going to try another one. How are we getting on with this? Oh, we're 49% of the thing done. So oh, that's interesting. So we're halfway through on probably about 3,100 litres used so far. Random guess. Did we use 2 tanks or what? I think there's about 1.5 tanks over there. Oh, is that right? 3,100? Yeah, possibly. I don't know. Maybe a bit more. But we'll use less than 49% on this lap. And we'll top the tanks up and see how much more we can get done. Oh, it only shows it on the mini-map, not on the expanded map. Oh, excuse me. Well, that's the tea done. Which is good. I mean, what are we coming up for 10 o'clock? Tea's good for about an hour, and then it just gets too cold. I do not do iced tea. What else is happening? Yeah, I may have some consideration of changing or adding some streaming services over the coming months. Not all at once, but there's a couple of shows I would like to take a look at. I know one is Foundation, which started dropping yesterday. First 2 or 3 episodes dropped on the streaming service. Now, what I'll probably do is wait till the entire season's out and then take out a month and watch that. That's based on the Eyes of Kazimov series, which was heavy reading. I read that young teenager, so yeah, heavy reading. I got through the first book, which was just called Foundation, and that wasn't too bad. I mean, it was. I mean, it's adult reading material rather than aimed at young teenagers. So, yeah, as a young teenager, you could get bored reading it. But Foundation and Empire, I think I read half of the first chapter about 10 times and then decided just can't get into this book. And put it down, and probably in my early 20s I figured I should probably get back to that. So I read the first book and then went to look for the second book, Foundation Empire, and I could not find it. So whereas I'd bought all 3 books as a series, so they had a complete picture over the 3 covers if you put them side by side. I had to get a new copy of Foundation and Empire, so I didn't have the complete picture anymore because it had a different cover print. And then read through Foundation and Empire, straight through Second Foundation, and then he started bringing out, I think, Foundation and Earth, Prelude to Foundation, and goodness knows what others. But the main trilogy, it was a good book, but yeah, don't read it as a 12-year-old. So someone's finally done that as a TV series, so that might be worth a watch. I think there's another series coming out in the new year. So as I said, it won't be long-term keeping the streaming services. It'll be long enough to watch the show and move right along. I'm sure the streaming services hate people like me who do that. But when you add them all up and calculate what you actually watch, I mean, we had Netflix for, I want to say about 10 years. And originally it was because I was in a hotel for 6 months, and so getting Netflix DVDs was kind of helped to pass the time in the evenings. And I went through dozens of DVDs, and at that time the streaming service wasn't that great. There was stuff on stream, and where there was, I would watch streamed shows when I was waiting for the next batch of DVDs to arrive. But as they started increasing their streaming library, it got to the point where, okay, I'm going to drop the number of DVDs I have at home. So I went from sort of a 3 DVD to a 1 DVD membership. And then they did that complete split. You can either be a DVD member or you can be a streaming member. Or you can play double for being both. And at that point we dropped the DVD service and just went streaming. And there were a number of streamed shows that were sort of, yeah, I'll watch those. But it got to the point where, okay, you produce one show with 10 episodes that I want to watch. And then I have your service for an entire year at, what, $200? So I'm paying $200 just to watch this one show that, yeah, as I said, is 10 episodes. You drop them all on the same day, and I could watch them all in a week. So why am I paying $200 for that? So we did wait until the last season of the show I was watching dropped, and then, you know, as soon as that was done and I'd watched it, it was just sort of, okay, we can cancel this. And then they announced they were cancelling the show anyways. I said, right, no harm. We're done. So we dropped, as I said, we dropped Netflix probably about 2 years ago, and there's still nothing on there which is a case of, oh, well, yeah, I want a Netflix account for a month while I watch this show, and then, but even then, yeah, it's $12 bucks for a month, or whatever the rate is now, $15 for a month. I probably shouldn't have started this round. I Should have gone over to the Land Rover and refilled the tanks. We'll let it expire, and then we'll run over there. But we have Disney Plus because of the kids, although we don't have quite as many kids as we used to have. Well, we do watch things on Disney quite frequently, and then the other one is Amazon Prime has quite a lot of DVD shows on their Prime service, so probably keep that for a while. And it seems they have some of the better exclusive shows as well. Oh, we do only have one tank left. Okay. Don't think we're going to make it all the way round again. It's full.